welcome to Everything Sparkle. We have a great show today because we have three amazing, talented people. They're all my friends, and I said that I wanted to do a show about people doing big things in a small town, and this is a great example of exactly what I wanted. So we're going to start with Claude Ball.
Hi, thank you for having me on your show.
I'm so glad you're here.
Yes,
so this
it's awesome.
book, oh my gosh, I almost made it to the end. Didn't have time, but I made a good chunk.
Yeah, well, thank you for taking the time to do that.
Well, I'm gonna finish it tonight. I'm riveted. Wow. Okay, so what inspired you to write about your life story?
Yeah, when I was going to college a few years back or so, gosh, man, how many years has it been? Yeah, I think I started like in 2012. I started going to college, and I had to write papers, right? And the beginning of every class, I was going to the University of Phoenix, so we would have 5-week classes at a time. So that first week, we would all stand up one at a time and introduce ourselves, and so I would tell just a little bit about my story. And after that first year of college, I was getting really good grades in my paper, and I already spoke to some youth groups about my story, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to give it a shot. So I just started writing an outline, and
what made you comfortable to even talk about this? I know that there's a very big stigma about men talking about sexual molestation, because I know it became kind of just Tyler Perry started talking about it, and it wasn't something that men wanted to talk about. What made you think, hey, I don't know when you started telling your peers. Yeah. I know that you told the authorities pretty early in life, but when was it like you felt comfortable enough to tell your peers?
Yeah, well, I was seeing a therapist and a psychiatrist back in 2011, and I started, I would talk about it. And I was pretty open because it was in a room and it was just like one-on-one, and then I felt better talking about it, and I think it came with maturity too, and I just went ahead and when I started doing these speaking engagements, I started talking about it too, and it just became not so difficult. Like I felt that it was a good thing to do.
It got easier every time you did, and then you saw the feedback.
Yes, and it seemed like it was doing something positive to the peers and myself.
Tell me about some of the feedback you've gotten. I'm sure you've gotten some great fan mail or people saying that they were able to open up as well.
Yeah, I've gotten private messenger messages from people that I've grown up with in Detroit, and just people saying that they have gone through similar things, and they're my age. I'm 38 now, but at the time, it wasn't that long ago, still in their 30s. It's still like a hush-hush thing for them, and so I inspire them, I think, to see a therapist or to be more like, all right, I'm not the only person that has gone through something like this, which is embarrassing and very difficult. And so that's some of the feedback. I got people that say, oh, wow, thank you for writing your book, and it was well written, touched my heart, and just thanking me for stepping out of my comfort zone and doing it. Yeah.
So tell viewers a little bit about your life. Right now you live in Fresno, you have kids, you have a family. What brought you from the 8 Mile to California?
Yeah, so, things were pretty tough in Detroit. In Warren, I lived right across the street from Detroit City, and what divided us was 8 Mile Road, and Eminem made his movie down the street. I always like throwing that in there. It's pretty cool. So I got sick of my friends, my best friends in the whole world, making fun of me and just being around drugs and doing it. I wanted to make something out of myself. So I joined the Navy to get out of there. And, spent 4 years there, got married and have kids, and now living in Clovis. And
so after the Navy, you moved?
Yes. Well, I got stationed down in Lemoore.
Okay.
That's how I got to California. Like the best place to move to, right? Lemoore. No, I loved it there, actually. And so I lived there for the 4 years, got out and moved to Selma, and then moved to Kingsburg, got married, lived there for 7 years. I've been living in Clovis for going on 5 years now. And let me turn off this phone. I keep getting messages. Sorry about that. And so, yeah, that's how I got here, and I think that answered your question.
Yeah, and you live down the street by me, so and you have to go to boot camp at some point.
One of these days.
It's an outdoor boot camp, so. So you opened up about you were molested as a young child. About 7 is when you got separated from your family and moved into the foster care
I was
system.
8 years old.
8 years old.
Yeah.
What was it like? I know I read a lot about it, so just tell a little bit to our audience about what it was like going from foster home to foster home.
Oh, man, that was... Well, first of all, I just want to say that, being molested was like super sick and it was horrible. But being taken away from my mom and grandma who were raising me, that was the most absolute toughest thing that I've experienced in this. And I was taken to a shelter care and then placed into foster care. I was in and out of 3 homes. And the first one, I ran away with my brother Joey. It's all in the book too. I get into some details about that. And, got out of there, went to the second foster home, and was there for only like a couple weeks. The foster mom was pretty crazy. And so we got out of there. And the last foster home wasn't so bad. It was a nice family, along with some other foster children. There was like 8 of us or something like that. It was a crazy amount. And at that point, I was like, I was taken away in January of 1990, and I got to go back home to my mom and grandma in that same year, October. So in a 10-month span or so, I was gone, and that was really super de-duper tough. But it only made me the man that I am today. So, I've been helping people with my book, word of mouth, my friends, and, and I'm not going to stop. I want to continue to help people with my message, and yeah.
During those 10 months, and I didn't really get a sense of it, did you ever once regret coming forward to the authorities? Because if you hadn't gone to the authorities, then you might not have been separated from your family. Did that go through your head?
Yes, it did. I told my mom about it one day, along with 2 of my siblings. We ended up getting taken away. And that next week, we were called down to the office, prepared to leave. And so I wasn't able to say, bye, Mom. Give her a hug. I'll see you in 10 months or whatever.
You didn't even know you were going to see her in 10 months.
Yeah. So, we kept being told 2 weeks. But, after, just that first day or so, I definitely regretted it at some, I did, but there was still some agreement with my decision to say something, but I definitely thought about it and was like, man, because that was really tough.
Why did you get taken from your mom? Because your mom was the one that went to the authorities with you guys to give a
Yeah.
testimony. So why was it that you guys
know.
were taken from her?
So as far as I know, my mom should have known about it. Like, because she would drop us off at my Uncle John's house, who was the person that was doing it to me and two of my siblings. And she would drop us off and go to work, and she thought, hey, nothing's gonna happen. That's John, that's Uncle John.
Yeah.
And my mom's only sibling, my Aunt Chris, was married to him. And so there was trust there, And so my mom was just working. She had 4 kids, single parent, grandma was there to help, and she did a very good job, taking my dad's spot. My dad was never there, unfortunately, but so yeah.
Yeah, well, I was just wondering why they took, because she is the one that came forward, and so and he was arrested. So I was very confused as to why you guys were taken out of the home.
Yeah. So, like I said, like I wasn't like really told exactly, but what I'm pretty sure, what I think is that they thought that my mom was an unfit mom because she put us in that environment.
That is such a
and that was going on.
Yeah.
She should have known better, because it was going on for a couple years. It started when I was 6, and my sister, unfortunately, had it a whole lot worse. I think it happened to her. She's almost 2 years older than me. I think it happened at the same age, and it was like, a whole lot worse than the sexual abuse with me and my older brother, which we don't need to get into. But so my mom should have known, and that made her an unfit mom, and so we got to pull these kids out.
What's your relationship to this day with your siblings and your mom? What happened?
Yeah, well, my siblings, thankfully, they're all still alive. They're still in Michigan, in Detroit area, Warren. My younger brother, Joey, who wasn't sexually abused, fortunately. My older brother, he's living out on the streets, homeless. He's living with this person, excuse me, with that person. And, I would help him out. It's been going on for many years. And, he takes money, he wants cigarettes, and does the wrong thing with it. He doesn't want to go to the shelter and get help. My sister, she's living with her boyfriend in Detroit City. And so my younger brother and my sister, they're doing okay. Joey's in a group home. I'm not sure if I said that. My younger brother, he's in a group home. So, we talk every now and then. And we have a okay relationship, I haven't seen him in a few years. My mom passed away 3 years ago. She was like 67, I think.
Did she get to
66.
see this book?
No.
Right,
I was writing
very
it.
close to it.
I was writing it.
I knew it was on the newer side. Oh my.
Yeah, and my grandma passed away in 2014, and aunt passed away, I think a couple years before that. So yeah, it's like totally weird, different. Like being a grown up and 38 now, it's like, wow, I didn't think my mom would die at such a young age. She smoked since she was 16 or 15, so don't smoke, please. If you do, stop. She had emphysema, COPD, but my grandma didn't really smoke or anything. She lived to like 97, so it's true what they say out there. God bless my mom's soul. Just wanted to throw that in there. Yeah, so.
So what do you want to instill in your children to make sure they never have anything remotely like your upbringing?
Yeah, I've been there and done that. I've definitely know a lot what things can happen, and so I've been trying to talked to them since they were babies about things, not sexual abuse, but like
as real as
right
you can
and
be
wrong.
age appropriate.
Yeah. I might have overdone it a few times. Like, wife is like, "Hey, they're 3 years old. Wait until they're 12 before you start talking to them like that." But yeah, I'm really. I'm not paranoid about that,
picture.
but
Oh
yeah,
so
yeah, that was
what
taken a couple years ago. That's my latest.
Family. Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
very sweet.
And yeah, that's when I had shorter hair. Yeah, so my oldest is turning 11. She looks like she's 13. Acts like she's 20.
Oh.
So I've been, she's going on 11, and my youngest is turning 8 next month, and my middle child just turned 9. So I've been telling them things, just I try to tell them the things that I've gone through, not so much with drug abuse and stuff like that. A little later I'll get into that, but yeah, age appropriate. But yeah, and my wife is a therapist, and she's heard
Really?
a lot of things. Yeah, I think that's why God connected us.
But not
To get
your
therapy.
therapist.
No, she's not my therapist. No.
Does she try to psychoanalyze you sometimes, or you guys are pretty?
Since we met.
Oh.
Yeah. No, she's been great. She's heard a lot of things. So like when we go out of town and stopping at McDonald's or something, going to get some food and using the restroom, we make sure that, they're not alone and stuff like that. That's another thing. You got to watch out for your kids. There's some weirdos out there.
Right.
So, yeah.
Where can people buy this book?
Okay, so it is on any online bookstore, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, any of the other ones out there. But you can't get it at a store.
Okay.
So only online, and Amazon exclusively has the ebook version.
Oh, awesome.
So
okay.
yeah.
And there's 2 versions. I have the PG-13, and then there's another version. So there's
Yeah.
2 different. How do people know it's very specific on there? Which one you?
Yeah, you'll see it.
And why'd you
It'll
do
say-
2 versions?
Yeah, I wanted to be explicit as I can with my language, like, because I quoted a lot from what was said with drug deals and conversations with my friends and stuff like that.
I've
Cuss
listened to
words.
Eminem, so I imagine.
And I do speak to the youth groups a lot, so I wanted to have an
One for
explicit
them, one. Okay.
Yeah, but
great.
I've had adults want the PG-13 version.
Right.
They're like, you know what? I don't want that rated raw, which I call it.
That would
the
be my
R
mom.
version.
She'd want
Yeah.
the PG-13.
Yeah, so it's the same information, the same content, except the stuff that it was just basically taken from the same manuscript, like the cuss words. I get into detail with the sexual abuse, so it's not in the PG-13 or so detailed. And so yeah, I wanted to have that option.
How long did it take to get this? And how did you find a publisher?
I did a self-publishing through Amazon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they have the Create Space, and they have the not Kindle, KDP, which you would do the ebook, but they just recently combined them because Create Space is like strictly for paperbacks. KDP is just for ebooks, but they combined them both now, I think, to KDP. So it's fairly easy to figure out if anyone's interested to write their own book and publish it, which is very common nowadays to do self-publishing. It's fairly simple, but yes. Yeah, I just had to call technical support a couple times, but just to make sure, So yeah, that's how I did it, self-publishing.
So when's your next book signing? I heard you've had a few, and I don't think I knew you at the time that you did that. Are you going to do any coming up?
Well, I published 2 Octobers ago, and I haven't scheduled anything yet. I kind of went on like a book signing tour thing, which is very difficult to put together. It took a lot of my time up. I didn't do too many. Like if we get a lot of people that see the show or something that say, hey, yeah, you should have a book signing or something, maybe I'll do one. I've been focusing more on my acting, modeling, and real estate investing work that I do.
Which you're very successful at.
Yeah,
we have
thank
to
you.
have you back to talk about that, actually,
Yeah.
the real estate and
Yeah,
everything
sure.
else as well. But this is such a good book. I really encourage everyone to buy it. How much is it on Amazon?
I think like the PG-13, I think is going for $11.99, and the rated raw like $12.99 or something like that. It's been a while since I've gone on there.
Okay.
But I think that's the last time it was priced, and the ebook, I'm pretty sure it's like at $2.99 for both versions.
This is
Yeah.
so good. I really encourage everyone, if you like to read books, if you don't like to read books, start reading books just so you can read this one, because this is really good. It comes from a man's perspective. I love hearing a story I've heard a million times over coming from a man's perspective and in your words, and especially the outcome, because you're so great and successful
Thank you.
and positive. Are you still in therapy? How are you so positive all the
Yeah, well, I do see my psychiatrist still, and I stopped seeing my therapist, I think over a year ago. So that's a good step. With the psychiatrist, it's just a quick, how's everything going? How are you sleeping? This and that. Because I do suffer from PTSD, and from childhood and from my service in the Navy. So so
Thank you so much for coming on, Claude. Like I
Hey,
said,
no
we're going to
problem.
have
Thank
you
you for
back for
having
the
me.
real estate, but this was so, I don't want to take away from anything about this book. This is just such a great story.
yeah, thank you so much for having me, and I'm glad that you liked the book, and I appreciate it so much. And I just wanted to throw this in here. I should have wore a green shirt so I can sparkle away.
And everyone needs to follow you on Facebook so they can see your book signing, because we'll probably do a mix of DeChicos or something, a filmmaker's night. We just
yeah,
won't have
that'd be a
Danny
good
there,
idea.
but
Sounds
you.
good. Thank you.
So follow Claude on Instagram.
Yes, Claudio Ball, 1981.
And we are back with Paul Giamatti. Oh, I mean Danny Minch. I'm
The
sorry.
guy from Mythbusters. Or a lot of people say H. John Benjamin. So anybody but my famous name. Like nobody ever says that Paul Giamatti looks like Danny Minch. So he's
Well,
got
one
that
day
going
that's
on.
what we're gonna strive
Let's hope.
for.
Let's hope.
Oh my gosh, you're like the funniest man in Fresno, right? Is that what you were voting?
There are a lot of that is a very subjective statement. There are a lot of very funny people in Fresno Clovis area, and I would not stand to say that I am the funniest one. I am the funniest one to some people, and then other people have their favorites. That's the way comedy works out.
Well, how long have you been a comedian?
12 years. How long have I been divorced? Yeah, 12 years. Yeah, something like that. 12, 13 years.
Is that why you got divorced? Because she didn't want to be married to a comedian?
Well, she didn't want to be married to a comedian, and she didn't like my 22-year-old girlfriend, who was actually 19. So there were two reasons.
Well, that could throw a wrench.
Yeah,
in
that
things.
could be a little bit of the problem, but she's gotten over it now. So we're very good friends.
Oh,
not me and the
great. 'Cause you have
19-year-old.
kids, right?
Yes, I have 4 children, 3 with her.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
a lot of kids.
That's a lot of kids, all boys. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have a 32-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 9-year-old.
That's all over them. I mean, I could date your oldest child. That's
You could
so
date my
scary.
top oldest 3 children. It's legally.
Oh Oh my god! So DeChico's, you're like the leading comedian now at DeChico's. That's your.
Well,
thing.
I run the comedy shows over at DeChico's.
How long has that been going on? Because that's really funny.
2.5 years. I've been running shows in the greater Fresno Clovis area for about 10 or 11 years. But we used to do them at a place called Mother Mary's. It closed down. DeChico's reached out to me, and we just moved it over there one night a week on a Saturday. And then I told him about our open mics. We started one on a Tuesday. And then I told him he was having problems bringing people in with the bands on Friday. And I was like, hey, we can give it a shot. And he's like, 3 nights a week? That seems like a little much. And like this week, we're having 5 comedy shows there this week.
Wow.
So it's become like our own little comedy club in the Central Valley. As a matter of fact, I always say it's the only one from Sacramento to Bakersfield on the 99. We're the only ones doing it that many times a week.
Well, what's great too is that you're bringing people from LA.
LA, San Francisco, New York, Bakersfield.
How are you getting comedians from everywhere to come to Little Fresno?
Well, I did extensive touring, and I did all the big clubs down in LA and San Francisco.
So you became friends with people.
I became friends with a lot of people, and we're in a very interesting cross-section. We're on the 99. We're in between Sacramento, San Francisco, and LA, so the comics kind of travel back and forth. So on some of the dead nights, like the Monday and Tuesday, even though they're just working for tips, they have nothing else going on. So it's a little extra gas money. They get to hone their craft a little bit, and they get to stop in, get some pizza, and hang out with me. And sometimes we party afterwards and have a lot of fun. And then they usually crash at my place, so they don't have to pay for a hotel room. So
wow. So like,
I have a collection of clothes at my house of comedians' clothes, toothbrushes.
It's a bachelor pad full of like comedians.
Yeah, we've had up to 7 stay with us at one shot, because they'll come and stay with me even when they're doing somebody else's show, and they have no place to stay. So even though they're doing somebody else's show, they'll pop in out at my place and just be like, he's got an inflatable mattress. Let's just go sleep on his floor. So we get a lot of that. So a lot of my friends, they started coming through, and they weren't as famous as they are now, but as the years went on, they became more and more famous, and they still are telling everybody, hey, talk to Danny about getting on the shows, because we're actually running 6 shows a week now in Clovis, Fresno. The only night we're not running one is Thursday, except for tonight. We have Tom Smith. It's a charity show for him. So if you guys want to come out to that, we're accepting donations at the door for Tom. He had some medical problems. Well, look at him. Of course he did. So we're going to be accepting donations to help him out on his way. It's part of our family of comedians trying to take care of each other. And look, I'm not in this to get rich. If it happens, it's going to be great. But I'm in this for the love of doing comedy, and that's what we're putting out there right now. And that's one of the ways we can help back is with Tom.
Oh my gosh, Danny. So my friends from church, they had a birthday party, and it was their idea to go to your comedy show. And oh my God, we're all in the front row, and the whole time, just every time you opened your mouth, I was just like that was so. How do you come up with this stuff?
Well, it's a lot. It's one of those things where it's a natural progression. When you first start out, you only get about 3 to 5 minutes when you go to shows.
Right.
That's all they'll let you have. So you start getting on shows. I have people like Andre Covington and Feather to Wise and a few of the other guys in the area coming around, giving me some stage time way before I should have been in front of a regular audience. But there were no open mics, so we've started 4 of those. So if anybody out there wants to go to try comedy for the first time, we do it on Sunday at Grog's in Clovis, Monday, Tuesday at DeChico's in Clovis. You just sign up and you get 3 to 5 minutes of time. And then now we just started one right down the street, which has been super successful at the Full Circle Olympic every Wednesday. And then we have our premium shows, which you came to on Friday and Saturday.
And that's where you had it was about a half hour, right?
And it's
well, how much?
How much time did I do?
Yeah, because those were all for half hour sets.
Usually the first 2 sets are about 10-15 minutes. It seems like it's longer when it's really, really funny. It seems like those first couple of comedians are doing a lot of time, but most of the opening comedians don't have more than 12 to 15 minutes minutes.
So yours was like 12 to 15 minutes?
No, mine. I was the feature, so mine.
Yeah.
Who was the?
Well,
headliner
there was
then?
a really hot LA comedian.
Oh,
I
that
didn't know.
was me. I just took my glasses and my hat off, and I came back.
I didn't know he was staying at your house. I would have called you up afterwards.
Oh, my goodness!
I didn't know you were the hotel.
I'm trying to figure.
You know, I can't remember.
Because I have.
This was like 2 months ago. Oh my God, who was it?
I have. Yeah, you know, I.
You know,
I
he's
wouldn't be
on
able
my
to-
Facebook. I'll have to find him. But he was like an LA comedian.
Yeah, and he was definitely either staying with me or my business partner Dave.
He said you guys went to Club 21 or.
It wasn't Club 21. It was maybe 500 Club.
500 Club.
Or the Fifth. We party a lot.
The 500 Club. Or you take all your comedians.
We take a lot.
Oh, geez.
On Tuesdays we go to karaoke afterwards. And
where at?
2 doors down from the Chico's. Old Town.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So we go there and we see if the comedians can sing. This week we had Quincy Johnson, who I'm actually going on tour with up to Humboldt County next week.
I wonder what you guys are going to do there.
Can I say it on air? Because
you can say whatever
I just got back.
Air.
I just got back from Humboldt. We're gonna do great there. Yeah, I started a show at a place called Redway, which is in the middle of nowhere, at the Brass Rail, and the people are very nice to us there. They take very good care of us.
Oh my god!
We got our own hotel room. So if you're in Redway next Friday. We're coming to town.
Oh my gosh! So the bit that I saw, your 15-minute act, is that like every Saturday?
I probably
you do
did.
The same
I
one?
probably did 2025 because I was the feature.
Okay, so you're trying.
Yeah.
How often does that happen? That same bit that I saw. That was making me cringe with all my Christian friends.
You know what? I have probably 2 hours of material that I can pull from. I have a staple, a skeleton of comedy that I do, and then I add many comics are scripted, and I am to a certain point, but then I start getting a vibe from the audience, and then if they mention something, I might move my comedy towards that direction. So I might have a bit I wrote 2 years ago that I hardly ever use, but somebody screams out something that reminded me of that, and then I'll go into that. I do more comedy instead of scripted now. I do it more organically, whereas 5 years ago you got the same thing every week. Now you come and I might do an hour's worth of crowd work. It might not even be my material. So you never know what you're going to get.
So what vibe did you get off the audience when I was there to totally offend everybody in my party?
They were not. They were having a good time, by the way. I can offend and still make people laugh, just to let you know. Because I do church shows. I do clean shows. I just got back with a buddy of mine, Cliff Hall, who brought me to do a church in San Francisco, and did an hour of clean comedy.
Wow, that must have been hard for you.
Nope, not at all. I've got a complete clean church set, and I know what you saw was not the church set
with my church people.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, that's all right. You guys were all dressed like you were in church. Just like this. All of them were dressed like this, and there was one really uncomfortable man with all of these women.
Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah, I kind of want to know what bit I did that you're talking about.
I mean, you brought up the Catholic Church, which
okay,
is just, that one.
That's my
That was probably your most craziest one you have, huh?
It's pretty dicey one. I have some pretty tough stuff. A lot of it I don't use as much because it gets a little bit more political or a little bit too dark for the audience. So unless I feel like they're going to be very forgiving to me, I'm not going to delve into a lot of it. Sometimes I don't delve into any of it. Sometimes I just go with my, bubblegum and popcorn material because I can feel that's what the audience wants. But then sometimes I get to go off the rails a little bit and have fun with that. But the great thing is we're doing it 6 nights a week, and we're bringing out guys from LA, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, and they have found out about the Fresno Clovis area because we've been doing it so much that they're calling out. We're not actively booking people. They're calling us up and saying, "Hey, I've got this date available. Do you have it open?" And we're booked 4 or 5 months out from them searching
That's
us
awesome.
out. Yeah, Dave Abkarian does a lot of the bookings for our what we call the Just the Tip shows. because the
Oh, he's funny. I like him.
the headliner, that's my
His mustache alone
that's
is
my
funny.
best friend in the whole world right there, Mario.
Was it your idea
Mario
for him to
and
have that
Mythbuster.
mustache?
No, it was absolutely not my idea for him to have that
Is he
mustache.
gonna rock that
I think it
forever,
was
or-
Armenia that made him have that mustache. You know how Armenians are.
Well, now that you bring it up, I mean, let me ask a tacky question. Because I mean, in my head, all that was running through my head was like, how much are they getting paid when there's only like, because it's a small room.
It's not a lot.
That's what I was thinking. That's what was going through my head the whole time. I always see numbers.
Here's the joy about doing comedy. Most of the comedians you saw on that show that night did not get paid.
Really?
Yeah. The first two comics usually do not get paid. They come into the room because we can honestly do the show with a feature, a host, and the headliner.
Oh, for sure.
But some of my buddies that are coming through will be like, and they'll be headliners. They'll be just coming through and they'll be like, hey, can we get 5-6 minutes? We're here anyway. And we'll be like, sure, do a 10 minute
Did they at least
set.
get free drinks?
Yeah,
Did Chico hooks them up or something?
Well, they can have food. The drink thing's got a little out of hand. Me.
Oh,
and
the
Dave.
shocker.
It was me and Dave were just taking advantage of the free drinks. And they finally set a cap to it. And then after a while, they were like, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore. So we get food. The comedians that come through get food, and we take pretty good care of them. They can stay at my house or Dave's house. And they get to hang out with us, which is priceless.
Oh my gosh!
And then we've got a great crop, and this is something I'm very proud of. Is a great crop of young comedians, and I don't realize how many that we push through, but they're coming out to our open mics 4 nights a week, and then they're asking for time on our premium shows, which they're not getting paid to do that as well, unless I book you, unless I call you up and say I need you, you're not going to get paid, but because most of the money goes to the headliner.
Right.
So,
that makes sense.
So to take care of them, and this is all I do for a living, so a lot of the money goes to me too. So this is my thing. But if they ask to have time, and if the show's super successful, of course I'll help them out a little bit. But most of the money does go to the out of town headliner. A lot of times, I don't make money on the show. Like we'll have 15 people show up, and the place holds 100, and I get 15 people to show up, so I just give all the money to the headline
to keep it going.
Yeah, just keep it going. It's to keep the consistency going, we got to do that. Dave does a really good job taking care of the free shows, which are the Sunday through Wednesday shows, and the bars do kick out a little bit of money from that. I don't take any of that money. I let Dave keep all that money, and it's not much. It's enough to keep him in drinks, pretty much. And maybe some nights not the way Dave drinks, but
I can see that.
Yeah.
Where is about this girlfriend? Where did this funny girl come? She was the funniest, by the way, that night.
Was she?
This girlfriend that you have?
I have
way hotter than you. So explain how that happened.
My fiance or girlfriend. Was it my girlfriend or was it my fiance? Because you got to be very clear on that point. You said girlfriend. Was it my girlfriend or was it my fiance? Because those are two different people.
Oh, jeez.
So if it was my fiance, she's the engineer. The one that
yes. Smart and funny. How did you land her?
Well, me and her, she started out doing comedy, and I told her I'd give her classes, which was my move with the young comedians.
Now there's a casting couch.
Yeah,
nice.
we call it
stand-up.
We call it something else. But then I started seeing her for a while, and then we just became buddies. We weren't seeing each other, but like if the person we were going out with that night didn't work out, we'd just end up with each other at the end of the night. So we were buddies for like 6 months or a year or something, and then it just organically grew into a relationship. We've been engaged for 6 years now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So when are you gonna get married? Why are you like?
Well, that's up to her. I mean, here's the thing: we're in an open relationship that she knows nothing about, so we're just still playing around with that. But
She's
yeah, Jen Felix, very funny.
She's super funny.
Yeah, and she's super scripted. She has a killer 20-minute set. She has been one of the staples in the Clovis. She is actually the silent partner to our Clovis comedy scene, that a lot of people don't get to see because she supports the shows from the background. She would be doing flyers. She'd be getting appointments set up. This is before she got her big girl job. Now she's completely immersed in that. But by the time she had gotten that, the mechanics of everything had been worked out. So now we can just about plug anybody in, and it doesn't matter. But at the initial, she was the young son hero that took the money at the door, and nobody knew she was a comedian until she got up on stage.
That is so funny.
And she actually put a lot of time and effort behind it, and she doesn't get the credit for it that she deserves. For one thing, she has to put up with me.
I mean,
so that in itself.
I think she's one of the funniest females and that I've seen in comedy. I love her. I think
we
it's
don't
sad
like
that
we don't like to separate the funny from in gender or any of that. It's just we like
as far as stand up. Well, no, I mean she's the funniest stand up female comedian I've seen in for. Well, I'll say that I was gonna say overall. I mean, I think she was the funniest person that night. So it's not really
very smart. She's very her stuff is well thought out. It's very well scripted, and now she's actually starting to do a lot of great crowd work, which she used to not do before, but now she's gotten comfortable with her voice in comedy, and now she's just
that's awesome.
Stepping out and really.
What's your day job then? Since she has a day, or this is a.
I don't have a day job.
So you're just poor all the time.
I'm just poor all the time. I am just dead poor all the time. My day job is promoting my comedy shows that I'm going to have at night, or going out on tour. Like next week, I'll be up and down to Eureka.
So who's going to take care of your stuff when you're gone?
Dave and Jen.
Oh.
So, or sometimes it's some of the guys from the open mics will throw them the money for the shows and say, hey, just run it. This is the way we run it. Because sometimes me and Dave are on tour, and then we've got to put our trust in some of the guys. And like I said, the machine has become so well oiled, and it runs kind of by itself. All we have to do is just go over with them real quickly, plug it in. Give them, very little stuff. We have people that already know how to run the door, and it's kind of it's bad for me because I like to have control of things, especially something that I built and I'm very proud of.
It is. So, it was very impressive. I would encourage everyone to go. I had a great time. Just don't take your church group.
You can take your church group. There's a lot of
not
church
when
groups.
Danny's doing it.
There's a lot of church groups that really enjoy it. If your church groups also go to see rated R movies, then have them come out. If your church groups only watch all Christian movies, then probably bring them to A Dog's Purpose and not to our comedy show. Because here's the thing: even though we're making money on people, I don't like there to be people in my show that are getting really offended by my show. I think that they should feel comfortable, and if you're not going to feel comfortable at a show, we do talk about drugs on many occasions. We do talk about sexuality and sex on several occasions. We talk about there's nothing that we don't talk about.
Do you have any story about being offending anybody really badly before we go?
Oh, I have offended so many people really badly. Yeah. I would say it was at a bar in Upper Clovis. I think it was called the Roadhouse.
Okay.
And I thoroughly offended this one lady, and it was when I was newer in comedy, and she took offense to a lot of the things I was saying, and I was wanting to explain to her some aspects of my life, but then I got to thinking, no, you know what? I don't need to explain to her that what I say on stage is a caricature of who I am.
Right.
It's not I am this person or I have this belief. This is a funny concept that I came up with. I wrote. Some of them are based on my life, so I can't change the fact that this actually happened to me. If you're offended by that, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna still go on to the next place, and I'm gonna do that. But yeah, I've had, and over the 12 years, I'd say it's a handful of people, like 5-6 people that have actually come up to me at shows, and I'm doing shows 6-7 nights. This week 7 nights a week, and sometimes I'm doing 2 shows in a day. So I've been doing shows that sometimes I did 14 or 15 in a week.
Wow.
And so the percentages are pretty low. But here's the thing: I don't know what's in other people's heads. A lot of people that are offended never talk about it.
Right.
They just walk out. But for the most part, I feel like people are very people keep coming back. When people keep coming back and they're bringing their friends and our
Like,
shows are
you're
getting
doing
bigger
something right.
and bigger and bigger, I'm like I've got something going that's people are looking for, and it's not me per se. I'm not going to change my comedy, but I also have an incredible Rolodex of very funny friends, and that's because they know it's not going to be just local comedians
Right.
there every week. Because there's a lot of great shows out here, and what happens a lot of times is they just book their friends.
Yeah.
And then every week you're seeing
Right.
or every month
You
you're
do a
seeing the same.
variety.
This way, we're bringing in at least the last one or two guys or gals are just somebody that the place has never seen before. And so it's been a lot of fun. It's taken a while, but I feel like I'm kind of in my sweet spot right now.
Thank you so much,
Oh,
Danny.
thank you. Well, are you going to come to the show tonight? It's free, by the way.
Oh, well, that's for him, and then I'm
it's,
there.
yeah, it's a free show for Tom Smith. So
Yes, you come to the gym, I'll come to your show.
I go to the gym all the time. You don't know Jim? Good looking dude. He gives me a workout, I'll tell you that much.
Welcome back. We are with my favorite special effects makeup person, Caroline. She has done my makeup for 3 films.
3, yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So what makes you want to be a special effects makeup artist? I know you do everything because you said you actually do parties as well, like
Yeah.
quinceañeras, bar mitzvahs, weddings,
Everything.
Everything.
Any kind of occasion.
graduations.
Yeah.
Have you done a graduation?
Yeah, I've done many graduations, proms, weddings, a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay, so what
Wide
made you
range.
get into this special, having blood and guts and all that fun stuff and skulls?
Honestly, it's so much fun to like have a platform like someone's face and kind of just transform it into something totally different and have them react upon it like, oh my god, this is so cool. And I'm just like, that kind of gets me. I'm just like, yes, like it's so cool. Like I changed your face and this and that, you know, just for what they were asking for too. So it's fun. I love it. It's gory.
But how'd you get into it? I mean, how'd you even get into movies? I want to know the first step of Caroline going big time.
So the movies, funny story. I was working at Applebee's as a bartender. Jaime actually walks in and he was dressed all nice. Jaime, Danny Jaime.
Oh,
Jaime.
okay.
So he walks in and I was like, oh my god, you guys look so nice. Where are you guys coming from? And they said, I just got back from a movie premiere, and I just kind of started explaining how I just have so much passion for makeup and behind the scenes and how cool it is. And he's like, that's so awesome. I love your passion for it. Can I, give your information to my manager, Danny, and we'll go forward to that. And I said, of course. So I gave him my information. They contacted me within 30 minutes. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my goodness. So the very first movie was Americanos that I had went on with Danny, and ever since then, people see me from Americanos meeting so much different people, and
that went big. I mean,
Yeah,
to have
it did.
start, that wasn't even like a low, but that was more of the bigger budget.
yeah,
Wow.
it was a great show. Yeah, so it's coming in, and
you
met
worked
different
under
people.
Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa Villalobos. Yeah, she's
That's
amazing.
That's how you say her last
I
name?
think so. Yeah, I want to say. I'm sorry if I
Wait,
didn't.
there's like P in there. There's a P
No,
sign.
Villalpando.
Oh my
I'm
God.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah,
I don't feel
but
bad for not saying your name. Well, I didn't even attempt to say your last
I know.
name.
I'm sorry.
5 episodes ago.
Yeah, but I assisted for her as with her, and she showed me so much, taught me so much, and different ways to do different things.
And she
and
has a
I
salon here in
appreciate-
town.
Yeah,
right?
she
What's
does.
the name of her salon?
Oh
my! I'm gonna try to put you on the spot. I was trying to have you fill in my blanks. Okay.
Yeah.
And then who's else? It was her, and who else inspired
And
you? That you
Andy
remember?
Namar. She
She's
is
good,
Ernest Serrano's makeup artist. She's very great. She works with special effects. She's taught me so much as well, and from special effects to beauty makeup too. She knows a lot about many things, and we still talk, we still, have ideas bouncing off. I actually did Ernest Serrano's movie Confessions, and I had a fill-in for her, and we communicated back and forth, and she explained certain things that I didn't quite understand, and just really, really helpful. I loved her so much.
I got to work with the lovely Elisa Ingram.
The what?
Elisa Ingram, she the one that starred in Confessions.
Yes, Elisa.
We were looking
oh
at
my
me
god!
weird. I'm like, oh my god!
No, Elisa.
Oh,
Yes,
we cast
yes,
her
yes.
in a movie, so
oh my god!
like, because that movie I produced, It Calls Me and Anthony.
Yes.
Pisano, we casted her in that, so I was like, she's amazing.
Oh
right?
my gosh, she's awesome. Like, I was behind set, like, oh my god, this looks too real. Like, this is scary.
So wait, how did you do with that? Because she's pale, and then you had an old guy. I love him too, Michael.
Michael, oh my god,
yeah.
he's
so you had
sweet.
two very different ranges. How was that doing their makeup?
It was fun. Like, Michael, honestly, I just had to make sure he was matte the whole time. There was no shine, no nothing. So it was kind of easy, just kind of like just prepping mostly. Alicia, it was just fun. I had to make her really, really pale, putting on prosthetics, just different things, making her arms look older, and just crazy things.
So she
ages. So it's
now
pretty
I'm all
crazy.
trying to figure out the
right?
plot. You're getting out of the way.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, explain the skull pictures that we had. Why did you make two people in skull? What's the occasion for that? I love this, by the way. Gosh,
so
this is
awesome.
This is kind of breathtaking. Like, this is like, you have to be like, wow, when you stand back and look at your work on this one.
Honestly, this one surprised me. I was like, oh my goodness, like seeing them. So I was doing them separately, and I was just like, this is so cool. Like, do you love it? And they're like, yeah, I love it so much. But then when I put them together as a couple, I was like, whoa, like, you guys look so awesome. Yeah, they loved it. It was for her music video, so it was great. And we also she had posted pictures of the music video too that's coming out, so you guys will be able to see that. I'll show that on my page.
So that's
as
what
well.
it was for. It was for
Yes,
a music
her
video.
music
For
video.
what song is it?
It's I can't remember that.
Is it what kind of music
it's
is
actually,
it?
No, it's like bachata kind of. She said it was like a bachata, like a slow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. It was a really good song.
So I was a theater major in college, and I think I got a C in stage makeup. So sad. Yeah, it was just like, well, how do you like self-teach yourself to do like, because it's a very step-by-step process, and have you ever done it and was like, oh my gosh, this isn't right, but then they have to go out and be on camera, and then have you ever been in that stressful situation?
Very, very stressful situation. At the same time, I try to be on set as much as I can, so that even if we do have a downtime, I'll be able to jump in and kind of transform or do something different to kind of critique it, or I'll look on camera and try to see how it appears on camera, because as I do the makeup, it may look differently from when I'm actually looking at it from when it's on camera. So I try to look at camera to see how it looks. If it doesn't look right, can I please step in real quick? If not, totally fine. But on our downtime, I will go in there, touch it up, and do something different and kind of adjust it, and just try to stay on it just to make sure there's not too much of a difference, but still transform it to how I want it. Yeah.
My friend Emily's watching. Say hi, Emily. Anybody you want to say hi to?
Ugh, everybody, like all my supporters. I know my mom's watching, my boyfriend, everybody, Danny, everybody.
We have two Dannys watching, right? Wait, you have two Dannys? You've worked for both Dannys, right? Danny Cameron and Danny. I thought Danny Cameron did the Americanos too.
Yeah, he was on there too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we haven't.
Yeah, there's so many.
So many Lisas, we don't know how to pronounce
right?
any
I
other
know, I'm
last
so
name. I was
sorry.
really hoping you were going to get me on that, but I finally know how to pronounce yours, so that was
my last name?
Finally, yeah, I didn't know 5 episodes
it
ago.
takes so much time.
Takes
Let me
practice.
tell you. Yeah, it does. You have to roll the N.
So, what I love about you is you're so much like me in that you do it all. You're doing your passion, and then you have your day job, which is your night job, or it's at a restaurant, and it sounded so bad when I just said night job.
I'm like, whoa.
Well, because you still work at Applebee's.
Yes, as a bartender, yeah.
Yeah, so where do you see yourself going from here, and how hard is it to take time off work? Because I know you're always kind of taking time off work to these.
I know.
Are they pretty understanding about that?
In some sense, yeah. I try to have everyone kind of schedule it maybe a couple weeks in advance, or one at least, so I could kind of try to get someone to cover my shift or so. They're very nice, very sweet about that, my coworkers, so they understand exactly what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do with, this whole makeup thing. And I have so many goals and just so many big dreams about where I've actually wanted to go with this, and I have been fortunate, and so blessed the past 2 years. And it all started with Danny, honestly, being on his show, and it kind of just went off from there, like meeting so many different people, and I'm so like overly happy of how everything is happening. Like it's so amazing.
Explain one of those dreams. I mean, do you see yourself moving and maybe going to LA and doing?
Yes, that honestly has always been my dream, to actually move to LA and try to go to the bigger, studios and different things to do, and, just kind of explore different things and, pick people's brains and, makeup artists. And honestly, I will assist makeup artists, because I've learned so much from just assisting as it is, because everyone does makeup so differently and has so many different techniques that I learned from grasping everyone's information and kind of making it my own in a way, to become better. And there's different ways that I don't understand that they may be able to do that and, explain it to me better, and I'll just kind of go on with that. So I feel like LA would probably be a great, way to go, because there's just so many different makeup artists and different opportunities out there for me.
What do you enjoy more? And be honest. I know you do everything. Do you enjoy more doing regular makeup or special effects? And what was the most fun you've ever had of doing makeup on a project, on one of your movie projects?
The most fun, honestly, so Ernest's last movie was very fun. It was different.
Muscle Dragons or Confessions?
Confessions.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I think Confessions is a series. I'm confused. Is that a movie or is it a?
It's gonna be a series, which I probably shouldn't talk much about. But yeah, it was very fun. It was very different. I haven't worked much with prosthetics, but at the same time, like I said, Andy, kind of prepped me for that, and it was very, very fun and very like, I really had to think and really, like look at different videos and different things to actually, perfect that. So it was very interesting. Even for my skulls, I'll look up like skull face, like the skeleton, and really grasp just the actual outline of the bone structure, so I could actually put that on a face when I actually draw, so it'll come out just great.
So what's better then? What to do, special effects or regular makeup for a big occasion?
I would say special effects, because I feel like there's way more that you could get into, honestly. There's so much different range of things that you can actually do. There's gory, there's, like the skulls that I do with jewels. There's just so many different things, so I would say I would like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Come really quick, Claude. Right? I want my boys to come on and say bye properly. We know we're all coming back. We want to all say bye, Danny. We're all gonna come. We're all gonna get a picture, and everyone viewing it. So this was the idea. We were supposed to do skull makeup on him, but he said he has a serious comedy show.
It's not a serious comedy show.
And then we were gonna do abs. We were gonna contour abs on him, but he said his wife wouldn't let anybody touch his waist. And I won't even say what George Osborne said. I know he's doing a watch party, but I mean,
hi George.
But I just wanted to Georgie.
There's no place like home.
Oh my! Michael, can you take a picture of us while a live show is going on, or is that like inappropriate?
Live show.
He's like, oh, he's gonna take that picture because he'll just be like, hey, is this the first picture you've ever taken while it was going live? I don't know. I wish you could see.
I don't cover sparkle up, so.
I mean,
Like you wanna.
But Claude's gotta go, so.
Start vamping.
Vamping or glamping?
Glamping. I like that.
You call that
glamping.
Dang.
I'm cramping.
Oh my God! This is the most exercise you've ever gotten since you actually never go to the gym.
I go to the gym.
Well,
I will show you my abs if that is what it is.
Hey, wow! Finally, someone's gonna show us some skin on the show, and it's the one place that we don't want to see naked.
Oh, yeah, you do. I look better naked than I do with clothes on.
There's several.
You must. Your girlfriend's awesome, so you must be packing something down there.
And my fiance's
Packing
cool too.
something.
Oh, sorry, your sanity.
Okay, Caroline, thank you so much for coming. Now you guys, we're done with you guys. We love you, Claude. We tolerate you, Danny. Thank you so much.
I appreciate
Caroline.
you, Sparkle. You've always always been there for me. Thank you.